Welcome to a new edition of Harness Central. I'm Harold Howe, and we're just north of Tillsonburg, Ontario, with Cam McKnight, owner of Metro Pace winner Boom Boom Ballykeel. Congratulations. How do you feel about inquiries?
Well, I guess they're part of the game. I wish they weren't, and I'll feel better, after everything's said and done. But I've watched the race a million times, and I'm certain Sylvain was well within his rights. I didn't see anything objectionable at all. So, I don't know.
You weren't overly surprised that your horse maybe won the race, but certainly was in the hunt, but the bettors didn't agree with you.
I think if anybody watched the horse race, he demonstrated that he was of that caliber, I believe. But there's always a tendency for the American horses when they come up, there's always a tendency to think that the American horses are a lot better than ours. And they have some pretty fast miles down there, but I don't know, they say Pocono is maybe one of the fastest surfaces in the world too. So
there are no turns.
No, don't seem to be.
It's interesting. This is a homebred son of Mach 3. So I guess you, in your own way, sent a message to the transition panel who believe the Ontario's breeding program has not produced world-class horses or improved the breed. Maybe they're wrong?
I definitely think they're wrong. I remember when this colt was born, mentioning Mach 3, when this colt was born, Jeff Lilly called me up because I had the mare foal down at Lily's and said, "Oh, you've got a bay." And I was a little bit disappointed because the full brother, Mach Ballykeel, had been a brown. And I said, "Geez, I was kind of hoping for another brown that I'd get a horse as nice as Mach Ballykeel." And Jeff said, "Well," he said, "there's been a pretty nice bay Mach 3, of course, meaning some beach somewhere." So, for the transition panel to suggest that Ontario hasn't produced the top horses in the world is crazy.
This is a little bittersweet for you in that you lost the mare this spring.
Yeah, the mare had been, when we bought her back, she'd been foundered somewhere along the line, and I guess those things happen, and she seemed to have laminitis in her feet, and it had been a situation we dealt with through the blacksmiths for 2 or 3 years and with vets to try and keep things working, but it just got beyond repair, and she lost her last foal over the winter, and she just was getting so bad, so we had a number of vets look at her, but we just couldn't save her.
Right. Now, you do have a yearling brother that's just getting broke in now.
A yearling brother, yeah, Big Bang Ballykeel.
And is there any likeness among the three brothers?
They're all feel goods. Like they all, some horses just kind of go along with things. These guys, when you've got them at home, they're just kind of rip around the paddock and they're always feeling good. I know right now this guy's done at Moreau's place, and when you get him into the race paddock, he's a perfect gentleman. But you get him at home and they need a couple of people to get him in and out of the paddocks because he's just so full of himself.
And you certainly know the horse probably better than anybody because you bred him, you raised him, you developed him, and you took him right to qualifying time here before you gave him to Richard Moreau.
Yeah, that's right. We had him here all winter. Now, I should say that we didn't break him ourselves. We had, last year for the first time, he and another two-year-old that we've got this year, Wings of Ballykeel, we took them up to some Mennonites north of Clinton, up near Lucknow. Toby and, I can't think of Toby's brother's name. The Shettlers, anyway, the Shetler brothers, and the two of them, or three of them, I guess the whole family, they break a lot of standardbred colts. They break it for Dave Wall and things, so they actually broke the colt, and that's where his brother is right now. But
you've been around horses, most of your adult life, and they make liars of the best of us. Yeah. Was this fellow the type that gave you any indication that you might have had a big Saturday night after the races?
In all honesty, when we brought him home from the Shettlers, he was plain looking. The Mach Ballykeel horse, he was a lot more developed than this colt early on. And in fact, this colt, we weren't even sure. He hadn't dropped his testicles early on. I wasn't sure whether he was a ridgeling or what. I had the vets, no, he's fine, but he just was late developing. And it wasn't until this spring that he all of a sudden started really growing into himself. And actually, it's funny, but go to watch him race now, every week he looks to me like he's growing. And getting thicker.
And it's hard to believe that he's won the Metro Pace, but he's not eligible to the Sire Stake Super Final at this point, anyway.
Well, no, at this point he's probably about 20th on the standings because he got sick early after he went to Richards, and he missed the very first gold Sire Stake. By the time he got in the second one, he missed about 3 weeks of training. So even though he finished fifth and was closing hard, he only picked up fifth place points. So he's scrambling for points right now. So hopefully we've got a couple of events left that we can make up for it. But that's kind of, I guess that's one of the casualties or one of the effects of having the reduced Sire Stake program too, sure, because of the OMAFRA issue.
Which brings us into your thoughts about the situation we have in racing. You've been very vocal over the last year and a half now about the plan, and we've seen the carnage that's happened. So what's your thoughts on it today as we're into September, well down the path?
One of the things that I've tried to stress right from the get-go was that the amount of jobs that are involved in this industry is way more than the government was willing to fess up to. I think Oriya has clearly indicated that in the last year they believe more than 10,000 people have exited the business. That's people from ORC judges down to grooms to and everywhere in between. And 10,000 people have exited the business. Now, to put this in, frame it for the Premier, that would be like 10 or 15 car plants closing. If 15 Camis or 15 Hyundai plants or 15 Toyota plants closed in this province, there'd be an uproar, because that'd be 10,000 people out of work. But if 10,000 people are thrown out in the horse business, nobody seems to care. Now, with credit to the Premier, she seems to recognize the issue now, seemed to make a positive move when she got rid of Paul Godfrey, because he and the whole OLG process were kind of what got us to where we are right now. But even though she's recognized it, the OMAFRA panel in itself, I don't believe has the tools to be able to turn it around, because they don't have control of linking us back to the OLG. And that's what has to happen, is there has to be either some kind of lottery or some kind of extended betting that involves the OLG, or God forbid, some kind of commission with the slots. They can call it something different, put the program back in place and let it go.
So taking what you're saying and combining it with the fact that Oriya has put forward a counter plan, which everyone has read, is it not a case now of it all coming down to the Premier of Ontario saying that her transition panel, sorry, I got to throw you under the bus, but this plan is better and I got to go with it? That's a big ask, isn't it?
It is a big ask, and I guess politically she might be able to work her way around it. I guess the transition panel has till sometime in October to respond. But as I said, unless she does not necessarily throw them under the bus, but unless she expands their criteria or has them sit down in a room and has a talk like she did with Mr. Godfrey and says, look, you've got to fix this thing right away or else you're done, maybe they'll take her more seriously than Godfrey did, because she was true to her word there. I think she obviously has the control and authority to change their view. I mean, I've heard from different people that she seems to understand the problem, understands the issues, and yet is relying totally on the OMAFRA panel. And the OMAFRA panel, whether it's their criteria or whether it's just that they think they're doing the right thing, she's either got to give them a different vision, correct their vision, or give them more help to come up with a new vision. And it's got to be done quickly, as soon as possible.
I think you pretty well said it all. Cam, congratulations on the win Saturday night, and good luck in the days ahead.
Thanks very much, Harold, and I appreciate it.
Harold Howe with Cam McKnight, giving you the Harness Racing Edge.